And if you remember the other day when we did the Attorney General's budget, there was discussion about the suicide part of this for the youth suicide. And so I handed out language to each one of you how we go ahead and make sure that we put funds in for the suicide fund. Yes, and the coordinator, correct. Everybody had a chance to read? Are you all on board with this? Okay, with that, then I'd look for a motion. Senator Kirshen makes a motion. Second by Senator Fagg. Any other questions? Senator Petty?
Chairman, could you, so this would speak specifically to the amount?
Yes, it lets them transfer the funds from the tobacco settlement fund is where these funds are at. And the governor had recommended not to transfer.
Yes, and I'm asking that amount. Do you remember that amount? I'm trying to, I think I have the.
Does staff remember the amount on that?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. So the amount for the transfer from the key fund to the tobacco master settlement is $460,593. And then that is separate from the supplemental request, which is $250,000 for fiscal year 2021. And then the enhancement request for fiscal year 2022 was $50,000.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask?
Yes.
So as this, the language that we're looking at presently, does that speak to the 460,000 over and above the 250,000, or could you?
I actually do not have the language in front of me that you were looking at. I believe what the chairman is referencing in that language is the youth suicide application.
Correct. And we do have someone here from the Attorney General's office, so maybe he can fill in the blank.
Yes, I'll try to help you out. It is not over and above.
Your name, please.
Sorry, Eric Montgomery, Chief of Staff for the Attorney General. It is not over and above. Just to recap, we asked for $250,000 in our original budget request. The governor denied that. The governor also denied the existing transfer of the tobacco money for fiscal 21 and 22. 22. And what we're just asking for this, what will be accomplished in this language is maximum flexibility. Zero fiscal note. It's not going to cost anybody anything because this money already comes into the Attorney General's office. We're just asking for the flexibility to be able to spend it on this program since it was previously unfunded.
Senator Petty.
Thank you. So the tobacco master settlement funds are already coming to the, I mean,
those funds we receive every year as part of the ongoing monitoring efforts for the master settlement agreement.
Right, but then would this amount of money, would it be coming out of what's going to the children's cabinet, or?
No, this money only comes, this amount of money comes to our office every year as part of the compliance requirements of the master settlement agreement.
So when you say this amount is the 460,000, and so that's the 460,000. So now where does that 250 come out of that 460,000? Is that?
Yes, there you go. This language will allow us to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Eric. Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I forgot my file back in there, but I remember over the weekend reading about this kind of puts you in pressure of cases that you would make money on versus cases that you should do but make no money on. That it was kind of really pulling down your budget with what we was trying to do. Was that the 460,000? As you get cases come before you, What kind of caseload you got right now, a lot?
That is the bigger SGF concern.
Yes,
That the $650,000 that we had to submit for the 10% reduction in
Yeah.
SGF.
okay. That just kind of hit me, you know, the idea of when you're looking at cases, the ones you can make money on versus the ones that you need to do, but, you know, make none. And I think, you kind of hit my heart on that part of it. We need to do the right thing. That's where I was coming from, so,
Absolutely, that would assist with this.
yeah. So bottom line, is that saying with what we're doing here, the 250 and the 600? That's what I was trying to get lined up.
No,
Just the
we're
250
doing the,
we're
we're doing the 465.93, which included in that is the 250. We're not doing anything on the 650.
Nothing on the 650?
No.
Okay.
Now, if you would like to, for us to put a statement in here that as we get into the budget process, that we consider looking at that, I mean, we can add some language if you want to do that. That's the across-the-board cut.
Do you remember that, reading that in your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I just think that that's something we need to talk about. Do you, Dan, did you read that?
Senator Kirshen. Well, is everyone agreeing we'll put a statement in there that we should look at this at the, we're working on the budget? You two guys would like that? How about you, Pat?
It is a across-the-board cut that was asked of every agency, not just the Attorney General's office. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, if you're asking about looking at it for all agencies, but I think it was an across-the-board cut that was made so we could be fiscally sound in our budget for the year.
Well, I have two that would like just to add a statement there, so I think we'll go ahead and
Or to look at it, yeah.
to look at it at omnibus or
Okay.
whenever we get into the budget. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, could you have the maker of the motion repeat it for the record?
Senator Fagg, you want the motion that we, on the language we have here? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir, if you would.
Okay,
On my part,
Senator Kirshen made the motion, so if you would mind reading this, please? Or I can read it, don't matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion, we adopt those provisions on the Attorney General's office relating to the Master Settlement Fund.
she wants to read that.
Do you want us just to get you a copy of this, Gabrielle?
Sure, that would be great. I just wanted
Okay.
to make sure I had the correct
Right.
motion for,
Okay, we'll get you a copy of that. And then we also want to add a statement in there, Gabrielle, that we suggest the whole budget committee look at the 10% cut, across the board cut in the future.
is that in reference to the reduced resources?
Yeah, the allotment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Senator Kirshen. Oh, okay, he seconded, okay. We have a motion and a second. Senator Petty.
I just have to ask the question, I'm not sure, is the 10% cut that's been asked of the agency, is that considered an allotment? Or just not an increase?
Maybe I shouldn't have used allotment, but it was money that was budgeted that they're not going to get, so. Anyway, it's a 10% cut. Okay, on the motion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item we have is the Secretary of State's budget. And when we were deliberating and going over this budget, we talked about the governor had recommended $927,585 as a direct SGF transfer to the Democracy Fund. Anyway, the Secretary of State come before this committee and said that they only needed a transfer of $3,085. So we can reduce the 927,585 by 3,085. So we would not transfer 924,500. They didn't need it because the funds weren't required, so he said we didn't need to put it in there, so. Any questions or discussion on that? Senator Kirshen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was thinking that was concerned when he explained that. He was saying that we had received commodities and health items and the part of the epidemic, and that they, since they gave that to as a credit, that he wouldn't have to pay that back. That's where the 924,000 came in. Because they had received, the Secretary of State had received a certain amount of goods and services worth that much, and so now we didn't have to pay that back for that.
Right, so we didn't need that.
That's the way I understood it.
Right. So the only amount that we need to make a motion to transfer is just $3,085. Motion by Senator Kirshen, so second by Senator Fagg. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, well, that takes care of the Secretary of State and Attorney General. The next
And
one.
Mr. Chair, before I get out of your hair, I wanted to touch base. We do report out on these two budgets at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So I will get these recommendations written up as soon as possible and get them sent to the committee. Mr. Chair, if you're comfortable with it, I would just ask that the committee members have their responses to me by 8 a.m. tomorrow, so we can have that ready at 10:30. Does that work for you?
Yes, Gabriel, thank you. Committee, you have till 8 o'clock tomorrow to ask for any changes. Okay? Short notice, but before 8, yes. Okay, next item we have is the Board of Indigent Defense Services. This will be our deliberation on that. Let me see. Are there any questions for staff on the Board of Indigent Defense Services? Okay, not seeing any. I guess we would ascertain a motion to approve the budget for the Board of Indigent Defense Services as recommended by the governor. Okay, we have a motion by Senator Fagg, a second by Senator Kirshen. Any other discussion? I might just ask the committee, you know, we did have a lot of discussion about the amount of money that we're short with the defense budgets. I don't know if this is another one, maybe we ought to put a little statement in there that we also look at this at the appropriate time as we're doing the budget. Does everyone think that'd be okay? To at least look at it? Okay, staff, does that sound okay with you?
Okay, just for a clarification, Chairman, you want to review which part, the reduced resources, or which part are you?
The reduced resources, yes. They were talking about how they were spending way more on outside help than they were within the agency, and I think it's something we ought to at least look at when we're doing the whole committee.
All right.
Senator Petty?
Mr. Chairman, would we want to be looking at their enhancements of the request, because that's where
Right.
the reductions were in the enhancement request for additional funding for
More stuff.
representation.
That, I think would just, at least we put a note in that we remember to look at it, not making any commitment. Depends on, where we're at with the dollars.
Correct. But that's the area that we're talking about.
Yes. Senator Kirsch?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, too, part of the discussion was it would move us from the $80 an hour to the $100 threshold, is the way I understood it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Looks like that's all we had on the agenda for this afternoon, so thank you all, appreciate it, and meeting's adjourned.